Alright, so like I was saying, like it's a yin and yang. And I think the yin and yang represents life in its entirety. Like you yourself are the yin, and you go through and you do all this other stuff, and like you do everything, but it doesn't matter how much you do, because the final outcome is ultimately determined by what the yang does as well, and the yang is everything else around you, and you and life are just like in this little dance, constantly swirling together, and yeah, just this magnificent little analogy, I guess, if you will. Uh, it's amazing how cut off we are from ourselves. Like, as selfish as we are, as selfish as humans are, we're very cut off. Like, it's always about me, 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 me. But you have yet to understand who me is. I. That's all people think about. But they don't even know what I really is. Or who I really is, rather. And it's getting dark now. I gotta take these thunder shades off. And, fuck, we're about to hit traffic, too. I despise traffic. But, again, I did what I did. I did what I could to avoid it. But luck just didn't have it in. It just wasn't in store for me to beat this traffic yet today. Although it'll move fairly quick. It's not super congested, and yeah. So it's amazing how a lot of people are just cut off from who I really is, and like there's no self-awareness at all. It's just all about gluttony. And the seven sins are pretty interesting to look at. Like I don't know exactly what they are, but like adultery, something, stealing. I don't know. Gluttony is one of them. I know that, and that's a big one too. There's a lot of gluttons out there, and I just think that this consumerism at its core is gluttony. Like it's gluttony and greed, pretty much are the same thing. Like even lust. Lust is just desire without feeling. Like lust itself is very impure. I think so. Look at that hero. So yeah, I don't know. Those are just my thoughts right now. No, I don't know where I'm going. Yeah, so I got very into the reading the passage, and it's amazing how profound and infinite the wisdom in books is. Like, if you, well, I like reading, so I get into it a lot too. So maybe that had something to do with it, but just reading a good passage will shake me to my core. Like, it'll just resonate within me, and I'll spend a good chunk of time analyzing it and driving what it means and why the author wrote it that way. And a lot of it, if you look at it, a lot of religions will, not religions, but people misinterpret religions. Like everybody, well, not everybody, but like everybody looks to Jesus and says, "Oh, Jesus was awesome. Jesus was this and that," and like everybody looks to Muhammad and says, "Oh, Muhammad was awesome. Muhammad was that." But the key here is Muhammad's and Jesus's messages. That's the important part. And even Sikhs, like I hear people like my peers all the time, like, "Oh, you should pray to the gurus." And no, the gurus themselves said, "No, do not pray to us. Pray to this book, which is the 11th and final guru." If any, like, if I know, like, I'm not religious, well, actually I am, I guess so, but I don't come off as it, but I like to do a lot of research, I like to learn, and the book is the 10th and final, like, that is the one, that is the only one that they praise. Like, they themselves said, "Do not look upon mere humans for guidance. In fact, instead, read this scripture and this book of knowledge, and then look within yourself to find the meaning of life. And that is just profound. And like it's amazing, like how it kind of portrays how we should be doing it. Like, those books are so highly valued because they're knowledge. It's knowledge. It's not like, even the Freemasons say, like, oh, there's even stuff about the Freemasons, blah blah blah. Like, oh, something. I remember Rick Ross sang a song about Freemasonry. It says something about he has knowledge and shit. And like, a lot of people went off like, oh no, Rick Ross doesn't have the real knowledge. When in reality, everybody has the knowledge. You and I and everybody here has the knowledge. We have just yet to accept it and acknowledge it. And you don't even need to read these awesome, like, amazing scriptures to get the knowledge. You just have to merely self-reflect. That's all you need to do. And I get it, some people don't give a fuck, but those people are just detached. And even those people have the knowledge. They just choose not to look at it. They just choose to ignore it. Like, don't get me wrong, I've ignored knowledge too. Like, there's just certain knowledge is, it's weird. It's a weird term. It's essentially just data. It's essentially just processed data, which is information, which is knowledge. And there's an abundance of information and data and knowledge out there. It's just picking the right one. No. Let me rephrase that. Knowledge is just data which has been processed into information, and then you take the information and you process that further. And that is what knowledge is. Does that make sense? So you have the data, which is everything, and then you process it into information, which is just like facts and stuff. And then you process those further into knowledge. And by doing so, you throw away all the useless information, and you're left with just good, hard knowledge. Anyways, that's all I want to say for now. Stay classy, world. Yeah, that's all for now. I'm gonna go home and read and do some more stretching. And hopefully I'm gonna end up, actually not hopefully, I'm gonna lift today too, so that should be fun. That's also another form of like yoga itself is a pretty meditative activity, but so is lifting weights. And you just get into the, like, it's all about finding Zen and what really moves you and what really resonates in your core and your being. Anyways, have a good evening, have a good weekend. May peace be with you all. I'm done.